Hi, I'm giving you guys an update on the gang stalking, and I have a lot to say. I'm really angry today, and I'm not going to use profanity because it's Sunday, but trust me, I have some words for these people. Part of what they did, in addition to hitting me with lasers, I don't know if you guys can see the marks. I'm going to see if I can get a little closer. And, the throat and the swelling of the face and the puffiness of the eye, is they started lies and gossip. I hate to call it gossip because it's far worse than gossip. And it's overly criticizing. When they started doing this and I started recording it, they decided to use a tactic that I like to call switching out what they're talking about so that I would seem like I'm spreading gossip. Do you know what I mean? So they were talking about me, I try to record them, then they start talking about other people's business. So I'm telling you folks, I can't keep recording them because they're going to start talking about other people's gossip. But what I'm telling you, the things they said about me, then they call me a prostitute. I'm not a prostitute. Then they said my mom's a prostitute. Then they said other people are prostitutes. That's how they feel about women. That's how they feel about sex. They also claimed that they thought I would be the type of woman to act as a fake relationship for men who may be homosexual or dealing with other issues where they need a fake relationship. This is 2022. Instead of trying to disgrace people and hide, we should be supporting people. They also called me a lesbian. Trust me, if I were a lesbian, I would be open with my sexuality. And I would never, ever encourage anyone to be so ashamed of who they are that they would have to have a fake relationship to cover it. That to me is so insulting. To me, that's even more insulting than calling me a prostitute and a lesbian. The idea that we would shame people into hiding, the idea that they would try to make me feel like I'm going mentally ill. Somebody left a comment saying psychosis is sad. How can you even put that out there? That's more of a reflection of you than it is of me as a human being. And that's why I came forward with what's going on with me. They said I should be so embarrassed this is happening. This is happening to millions of people. That's why people are looking this up. And I'm putting my story out there with my name and my address so that anybody who's going through this will not feel alone. You don't have anything to be ashamed of. I'm 48 years old and I'm going through this. I was on a New York City bus and they got on because I hate to say it, but you can kind of tell who these folks are. If you look at my Twitter account, you'll see them. They're always staring at you, trying to intimidate you. They're criminals. They're watching us. And when you take their picture, they try to turn their heads because they're gang members. They're criminals. And for them to me, to even suggest that I would try to shame a person by putting their lies out there and turn it on that person, or try to cover for someone who's going through a difficult time instead of helping that person get through the difficulty. That's the difference. Do you get what I mean? The difference between them trying to shame me for going through a difficult time and expecting me to hide in the shadows. I would never have a man in my life who couldn't accept himself fully and completely, even as a friend. Why? Because a true friend doesn't tell you to hide who you are. A true friend stands by you when you are who you are. And that true friend is the person you want. You don't want somebody who's going to tell you to hide your identity. For no job is it worth it. For no relationship is it worth it. For no promotion is it worth it. And I would never want someone in my life who would tell me to hide me, hide my soul. These people are what I call soul stealers. They steal your soul. Some people call them vampires. They're worse than vampires because at least a vampire doesn't just suck your blood. They give you eternal life. These people shorten your life. These people take your life away from you. They take your soul and your life. So if this is me getting angry because I'm being hit in the temples, hit on top of the head at this point, and hit behind my head here, and behind my ears. They call this, I believe, I'm not sure, microwave auditory effect. Your hearing is sensitive, and there's a buzzing sound I hear, like zzz, and they say that's to test your hearing so that I can pick up what they're saying, but not always. But when I record it, and you'll see, please check out, I'm going to put a separate playlist called audio so you can hear how this sounds. And for those of you going through it, I know it's hard to record them. They really figured out a way to get us. But more of us are figuring out how to get them. And I'm using AM radios, I'm using old cell phones, and I'm doing it at times of the day, especially at night when they are least suspecting. People know this is happening to me, and people know it's happening to you. They're criticizing everything we do because that's a sign of abuse. The worst part of their abuse is they came up with something called reward and punishment. So they want to say they reward me when I do something they like. Oh, what a saint. And they punish me when I do something they don't like. Isn't that abuse? That is abuse. So as long as I'm kissing up to them, and I don't want to say the A word, but you know the word. As long as I'm kissing there, they're happy. If I'm not, they're sad. To equate that to any religion, no man should or woman should play God. So to equate that to any religion is blasphemy. That's blasphemous. I went to Catholic school since I was in kindergarten. So kindergarten through 12th grade. And then I went to a Catholic university. So I've been taught this information. No one's allowed to play God. No one's allowed to shame you for who you are, who you want to be. That is not okay, folks. That's an abusive person. So when these criminals are saying these things, I do not repeat what they're saying about other people, but I would like to tell you the list of things they said about me. They said no man has ever wanted me. Any guy who ever wanted me was faking it because I'm so unlovable. I'm so ugly. My nose is big, they said. My lips are weird. My skin's dark and ugly. They said I'm a lesbian, not because I've ever been in a lesbian relationship, which I haven't, and not because I've dated women, but because something about me is like a lesbian. Now, we've heard that told over and over again about Black women. You got to be a lesbian if you're Black and female. And I say, if I am, I would wear it as a badge of honor. I'm not, but I am an ally to homosexuals of all sorts. And that's why I will never encourage someone I'm with to pretend to be something he or she is not. They said that I am a prostitute. How am I a prostitute? Is it because I'm Black, my skin makes me a prostitute? Sending in men to pick me up on my job doesn't make me a prostitute. That makes them pimps. There's a difference, folks. That's the difference. I'm not a prostitute if you send in a man. And I'm not getting paid for sex. I've never been paid for sex. Not that there's anything wrong with it. But if you have a job where you seek out men to come in and approach me, and again, I have no shame in talking about how these people operate. That's what I call being a pimp. That is not that does not make me a prostitute. And if you have the audacity to call women, even if they are sex workers, prostitutes, and spread malicious gossip about people, then you are the problem, not me. The last part of this I want to address is what they claim they're doing to me, which I account to some sort of abuse. They said that I feel like a tightening in my skull, like it's seizing up the muscle. I told you guys in another video that hitting people with lasers seizes the muscles. It causes your muscles to go like this. And unless you can get that muscle, that pain will stay. They're claiming that by heating me up at night or applying heat or making me feel heat, that will cause me to not only feel pain, but become forgetful, confused, angry, and then ultimately their goal was to have me seeing images. So if they hit me in the eyes, I would see images. That sounds like a bunch of craziness. But it also sounds like people who think they're really smart to cover up abuse. They're going to claim that this is something else. You're being researched. You're being experimented on. That's worse. That's worse. I did not consent at any point for this to happen. It sounds like a bunch of insane criminals who are trying to exploit me. If you're not trying to find a man to date me, if you're not trying to take my apartment, if you're not trying to ruin my channel, my YouTube channel by yelling things out while I'm filming, if you're not trying to jeopardize my livelihood, then you then want to prostitute me by using my body or claiming to use my body, I am telling these people once and for all, I will not remain silent. That's what I'm going to title this video. They always like to shout out things. I will not remain silent. We will not shame people into going back into the closet. We will not shame people into remaining silent. And we will not shame people, especially females, into making money off their bodies instead of their brains.